another video, but today's video is about PCOS. Now, for those who don't know what PCOS is, you will soon. I'm going to explain it. However, those who do have PCOS or know what PCOS is, you're probably here for an informational video about how I got pregnant not once but twice with having PCOS and how I kind of manage my symptoms. It is, in short words, a hormone disorder that 1 in 10 women. So it's really common. Some of the symptoms are irregular or missed periods, struggle with weight loss, excessive hair, acne, thinning of your head hair. Of course, the big one for women, infertility. It even has things like depression and anxiety. It affects a lot. PCOS affects a lot more than you would think it does. As of right now, there is not one single test that you can take that tells you if you have PCOS or not. You have to do blood tests and have certain symptoms to determine if you have PCOS or not. So I had some symptoms start at a young age. I was 9 when I first started having a period, when the average age to start your menstrual cycle is the age of 12. So in addition to starting my period young, I also began having cysts on my ovaries, which is another big sign that you have PCOS. And I didn't know that I was having cysts on my ovaries until I had one erupt. And I cannot even explain that pain. If you've had it, you know. That's all I can say. If you've had it, you know what pain I'm talking about. But I was just having a normal day, and all of a sudden I just felt this excruciating pain in my stomach, and it was a mix. I can't even lie to you. It kind of felt like I had to shit, but I couldn't. So I kept trying to go to the bathroom and see if that would release some of the pain, and it didn't. It just hurt so bad. So finally my mom was like, okay, we're going into convenient care and we're going to figure out what's going on. So we get there and I'm telling them my symptoms. I'm telling them where it hurts, how long it's been happening, that it's just getting worse, da-da-da-da. And they literally tell me they don't know. They're like, we don't know what's wrong with you, so we're going to send you to Hoopson and they're going to check on you. Fast forward, I get to Hoopson and I'm telling them my symptoms. I'm telling them how I'm feeling. And they said, we think we know. So they give me an ultrasound and they're looking around. And that's when they see that I had a cyst erupt. And so they can't really do anything for that. They just put me on some pain reliever or whatever. So anyways, I was on birth control and metformin following the cyst eruption. And I was on that for probably, so the pills came in 3-month packs. I had got the second pack, and then during the second month, maybe in the first month, I just quit taking it because I was forgetting to take it. It was more of a stress than it was helping me. I didn't feel like it was doing anything to help my periods. I was still having crazy periods that would sometimes come, sometimes not come, sometimes last for a month, sometimes last for 2 days. It just wasn't worth it to me. So I just quit taking it. And then that's when I first started to realize that I just wasn't getting pregnant, I guess. There's that meme, some people say meme, I say meme, whatever, on Facebook that says, thank God I didn't end up with what I thought I wanted. And that rings so true here, because I think when they told me that I have PCOS and that having babies would be hard and da-da-da-da, I think it just kind of ruined my spirit about it. And so I was not being careful. That's the simplest way to put it. I was not being careful because I just felt like I couldn't get pregnant. And if I did get pregnant, then I was just going to be grateful and happy, and I wasn't going to care about the situation that I was in to be pregnant. So I was being careless, and I was noticing that in situations that I felt like I should be getting pregnant, I wasn't. And that was that was doing something to me. Like, I was like, my feelings was hurt. I knew that I was more than capable of being an amazing mom, and I was watching people around me my age start to have kids, and I guess I was just in a way jealous, and my feelings was hurt because I wasn't doing what a woman should be able to do, I guess. So me and Lomax decide that we are ready to start trying to have a baby. So, not even gonna lie to you, we have been using the pull-out method for quite some time before we decided to start trying for Soraya. And we was just not pulling out, just not exactly like using things to try to help us get pregnant. There was no like, I was gonna get that lube or whatever that is supposed to help the sperm stay alive. Remember, this is an informational video, so I'm going to be using real words, real terms, telling you real deal what was going on. So I wasn't using anything like that. We was just constantly having intercourse, making sure we don't pull out. I would always lay down after, like trying to let it really do its thing or whatever. And we went on for months doing that, and it wasn't doing anything. We weren't noticing we weren't even noticing any scares. So I was getting upset. I was getting worked up about it. I remember talking to my coworker at the time. I call her my sister now, Rachel. She had just got pregnant, which they went through a lot to get pregnant with their daughter. So I felt like I could talk to her about it, and she could understand that how frustrated I was that I wasn't getting pregnant. She told me to start tracking my period. I needed to track it to the day. I needed to take my temperature. I needed to make sure that when we was doing what we was doing, that it was when I was ovulating, when I was most fertile, etc., etc. So I started paying more attention to that. I was working in a factory at the time, so I was active, and I feel like if there's anything I could say, I think it was that. Like, I was just being better to my body in that time period that I got pregnant. I was working out more. I was eating better. I wasn't stressing myself out because I started to just calm down. I was like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I had calmed down, and I was tracking everything. I was making sure we was having sex at the right times. And like I said, I was being good to my body. And so at that time, I was 215 pounds. I'll post a picture up here. I definitely was not as big as I am now. Definitely not. But I was at a good weight for my body, especially when having PCOS. It is hard to lose weight. It's almost hard to not be overweight. If you have PCOS, you are more than likely a little fluffy. That's what I've noticed, because that's a symptom. It's just one of the main symptoms for PCOS is that you have excessive weight, and it's hard to lose weight because your body is, I can't remember if you don't have enough insulin or your body is not making insulin. It's something like that when you have PCOS, and the foods you're eating, if it's bad for somebody without PCOS, it's 10 times worse for you having PCOS and eating those foods. So it's because your body's just not breaking it down or something like that. So I know as of right now, there's not a cure for PCOS. So personally for me, I feel like it was a combination of planning when to have intercourse, eating good, being active, and keeping a good spirit about it. Because when your body is stressed out, it's not gonna work. They always say it happens when it's least expected, and that is so true. I felt like I had just gave up. I was like, I'm not even trying no more. I'm not waiting to take a test. I'm not waiting to see if my period doesn't come. I kind of just quit doing that. I was like, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And if I get pregnant, I get pregnant. But if I don't, I'm not disappointed. That's kind of the attitude I took towards it. And then I swear to you, all of a sudden, these are my symptoms of pregnancy. Let me tell you, my symptoms was being hot and cold at the same time. That is my number one sign, because it happened with both pregnancies. But unless this happened to you, this is probably crazy. Like, I would have goosebumps. I am shivering, freezing cold, while I have sweat pouring, and it's like my insides was hot, but my outside was cold. It was just complete opposite happening at the same time. That was my first time. And then it comes time to where I'm supposed to have my period, and I'm like, oh wow, I'm like 4 or 5 days late. Okay. And then I started getting nauseous, and I was like, I think it's happening. So finally, I'm gonna take a test. And me, being who I am, needed to go get the $20 first response, like, best pregnancy test ever type of thing. So I go and get the pregnancy test. Positive. Okay. Positive. So I tell Lomax, and like, we're all excited about it. And I'm like, let me take another test. So, now I'm like, because I already I got the one that came with 2. So I got that test. I took that test, and then the next day I took another test, and it was positive, and I was just so excited. And so I go to my mom's house, and I just showed her a picture of the pregnancy test, and she was like, whose is this? And I was like, it's mine. And I swear to you, she started crying, because we had talked about this. We had talked about the chances that I couldn't have babies. And so when I got pregnant, it was like everybody was excited. Everybody was excited for me. Everybody that mattered. Like, if you wasn't excited for me and you're watching this and you're like, well, I wasn't excited, it's because you didn't matter. But no, for real. Everybody that mattered was excited. And I remember fake acting like I wanted a boy, because I knew that's what Lomax wanted. I knew he wanted a boy. So I remember being like, yeah, I want a boy. I think, yeah, we went to the women's clinic that's here in town, just to make sure that there was a heart. And that I was for sure, for real, pregnant. I remember them like being like, oh, you can pick out a baby blanket. It was a little receiving blanket. And I picked out one that had like green and blue dinosaurs on it to, pretend like I wanted a boy. And so when we got to our 13-week appointment, they had thought that it was a boy. And I was low-key disappointed. But I was like, whatever, So we get to like 16 weeks, and they was like, we think it's a girl. And then we got to the 20-week anatomy scan, where it's like that hour-long ultrasound. They give you, or they want to take pictures of the baby's everything. And they was for sure girl. And I was so excited. I was like, okay, let's name her. Let's get these last 20 weeks done. I am ready. I was so excited. But I guess I should talk about some of the problems I had too with Soraya, because that being my first pregnancy, and they told me to expect miscarriages with having PCOS, I was nervous. I was definitely nervous. They say that you're in the safe zone when you hit 12 weeks, when you're out of your first trimester. And so I really kept it on the down low until almost to 20 weeks, I want to say, because I was still just nervous that things wouldn't go well. It was right around 8 weeks. I was bleeding, and I had an ultrasound the day after it happened at night, and I knew the next morning I had an ultrasound, and I still was just terrified that something was wrong and that I was gonna lose my baby, but I didn't. It was, they said that just having sex could have irritated my my area, and it could have made me bleed. And so not to worry about it, just to be careful type thing. And so for like the rest of that first 12 weeks, we didn't do anything. Like nothing. There was, because I was scared. I was just so scared that we was going to do something that could hurt the baby. And I was really cautious about it. And we didn't have any more problems really. I think I bled like one more time. Yes, I did, because I went to the hospital. I remember this. It was crazy because it was like a weird color of blood. Like it was just coming out a lot. And like I said, we hadn't done anything that let rest that 12 weeks. So I was like, I could not have done anything to cause this blood. So what is happening? So I went to the hospital. They said that since I wasn't at 12 weeks yet, they couldn't give me an ultrasound. They couldn't put the Doppler to my belly because they couldn't hear the baby at that gestational week. Like, they was just telling me that there was nothing that could be done for me, basically. And I had to wait for my next ultrasound, or if I could get into the doctor quicker, ended up being nothing. Just old blood circulating out is what they told me. But of course it was scary to someone that doesn't want to see anything like that with their first, with their first baby, When I had bleeding with Junior, I wasn't so worried about it because I've been through it before. I know what I've seen wasn't a big deal, so I'm guessing it's not a big deal now, because they say if it's not bright blood, it's not trouble. So that's kind of just what I went through. What I paid attention to with Junior, if I ever bled, I just would make sure it wasn't bright red blood, and I didn't worry about it because I've already went through pregnancy. I know that bleeding is sometimes normal, and it's just part of the process. So Soraya was born February 17th of 2018. She was a natural birth, vaginal birth. I did have I was induced with her. So basically, I went in, they hooked me up to the machines, and then they started my labor for me. And it took forever because they started everything at like 6 o'clock Friday evening. So, on the 16th. And then I didn't have Soraya until after 10 o'clock at night, Saturday. It was 10:41 Saturday night that I finally had Soraya. So, like, it took forever, and it did hurt. So I ended up, I waited. I will say I waited, because after 7 centimeters or something like that, after 7, you cannot get an epidural. I'm pretty sure that's what the number is. I think the magical number is 7. After that, you can't get an epidural. So I waited until like 6.5, and then I was like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. Give me the epidural. And so they gave me the epidural, and I went to sleep. Like, I literally went to sleep for like 2 hours. I woke up, it was time to push. Pushed. See, now that, like, Soraya's birth story is traumatic in itself, because Soraya, they were taking bets in the delivery room on how big she was going to be, because at my last few ultrasounds, the machine wouldn't even read her no more. It said that she just measured over 40 weeks, and that's all they could tell us. So we were estimating a 9 to 10 pound baby to come out. She ended up coming out 8 pounds, 12 ounces. So it's a little bit short of 9 pounds, but she was a big baby. And when she was coming out, she got stuck. And so they had to reach in and break her collarbone and then pull her the rest of the way out. Like, she was just too big to fit out of my pelvis. And then they ended up saying that my pelvis is shaped funny, and so they didn't want to try to have another natural birth so close together, because I got pregnant with Junior when Soraya was like 1 month old. Like, I think she was close to 2 months. I want to say I tried to wait my 6 weeks. Like, I want to say I did. But yeah, so, and with that, I'll say that I think the reason that I got pregnant with Junior so easy is because you are just fertile. After you have a baby, I don't care if you have like broken ovaries or something. Like, PCOS is no match to the fertility that comes to your body after having a baby. Like, you're just fertile. There's just, because you went so long without your body being able to be fertile, I think it's like, I'm fertile. Like, I'm just fertile. So it was a big surprise. We knew what we was doing, but it was a big surprise that I got pregnant with Junior so quickly. And it didn't set in, I feel like. No, it didn't set in. What did set in made me embarrassed. I didn't tell nobody. I mean, not my family, not some of my friends. for quite some time. Like, I was planning on just going to the hospital and having a baby and then telling people like I had a baby again. But like I said, what did sink in embarrassed me. I was embarrassed to say that I got pregnant again so fast. I didn't realize until after I had got like a lot of the way through the pregnancy that is normal. Not normal. Let me not say it's normal, but there's a lot of people that have their babies close together on purpose. They do this on purpose, okay? And then after it's all said and done and I have 2 babies, I would never do it differently. Never. Like, I don't even know if I want to have another baby, and if I do, I think I want to have another one right after. That's where I'm at with it. Like, the decision that I thought was the worst decision ever is now one of my most favorite decisions I ever made. Even though I didn't make it, it just happened. But I could have done some other stuff and not let that happen. But I'm glad that it did now. Now I'm glad. Because I get to do everything basically at once. And then they always have a friend in each other. Even if they choose not to be friends at first, because I don't think they're going to be. They both, not even really Junior, but Saraya's jealous. Junior's not. Junior loves her to death. But anyways, yeah, like, I'm just glad that I have both of them here together now. And so back to the birthing stories. Having such a rough birth with Saraya, they didn't want to try it with Junior, with the possibility that he could be another big baby. I want to say that they had the due date wrong, because I went in with a C-section. So, you know, it wasn't like my water broke. It's not like my water broke and I had to go to the hospital and then they gave me a C-section. We just planned the date for the C-section and then went in to have him. So I feel like he wasn't at the gestational week that they thought he was. We're supposed to have the C-section at 39 weeks, and I still feel like he was somewhere in between 37 and 38 weeks, because he only came out 7 pounds 4 ounces, and compared to Saraya, that's just small. And not that that's a problem, don't get me wrong. I guess I just thought that it was abnormal. And then past that, he slept for months. Like, Saraya grew out of her newborn stage fairly quickly. Like, she wasn't taking long naps at like 2 and 3 months old like Junior was. I feel like he still had some more weeks he could have baked in the oven before they took him out. Everything happens for a reason. He's here, he's safe, he's healthy, everything's okay. I just feel like he could have baked a little longer. C-section was terrible. I would never, ever recommend a C-section to anybody. I know I had an epidural having a natural birth, and I don't care. Listen to me clearly, I don't care. I still did it. I still did childbirth to the fullest, and I did it 2 times in 2 different ways, and I'm telling you, the C-section is absolutely terrible. I was up, moving, doing whatever I wanted to the day after I had Saraya. Even with the crazy rip that happened to me because she got stuck in everything, I was fine. With Junior, I was just, not only did I get the blues, the baby blues so bad after Junior, but I was just in a lot of pain. Okay, so you can tell that my background's a little bit different. My phone had died, so I had to run home and get my charger, and now I'm just chilling outside in the car and letting my phone charge while I record. But yeah, that was really the majority of what I wanted to talk about. Getting pregnant, the pregnancies, and childbirth. If you're looking for more information about PCOS, I'm going to drop a link in the description to a website dedicated to PCOS awareness and about it, and you can read more. If I didn't touch on something that you was wondering about, don't be afraid to reach out for help. I hope that this could be informational, and helpful to those dealing with some of the issues that I am also dealing with. There's women that have crazy infertility issues. I am considering myself blessed to not have issues that cause me to have to go through treatments or have to go through different ways of trying to get pregnant. The old-fashioned way worked for me. But just let me know if you liked the video, and if you have any questions, comments, or anything, feel free to let me know. Drop them in the comments. Like I said, my Instagram will be down there. You can DM me. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be posting more videos, more content. I'm excited to really start vlogging. So that is really it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.